When I was a kid, this thing blew my tiny mind. So let's take a look through it together. Hello there, you devil of the sea. I'm Jason Arnott, the author of The Last Days of Jack Sparks, Ghoster, and Doctor Who stuff of both the fictional and non-fictional varieties. You can find links to my written work downstairs in the video description. Without wanting to age myself too much, I encountered Doctor Who during the Tom Baker era, as has been established in previous videos, such as this one that I did about the Mask of Mandragora up there. You might be able to see it up there unless you're watching on a TV or something. I started watching with that series, season 14. So because I'd started watching after the Pertwee era, and indeed some of Tom Baker's era had happened, this book was one of the things that showed me what had gone before, and obviously, specifically, what monsters had been on the show before. And that is why the illustrations and the photos in this book are so very iconic to me. Let's take a closer look inside. Firstly, let's play a game. Can you possibly guess which of these two editions of the Doctor Who monster book was the one that I had as a child and read about 1,000 billion times? Oh God. Right, well, first of all, straight off the bat, let's just absorb the beauty of this image, because I'm pretty sure that this advert is the one that made me aware of the Holy Target novels. Yeah, look at those covers all together. Can you imagine what my young brain would have made of that? All these images, all these monsters that are also partly in this book. But anyway, this video is not about Target novels. If you want to see my thoughts on Target books, then I made 2 videos about Target books, because I think I did my top 10 favourite Target book covers. I will put links at the top of the screen and also in the video description. I'm also going to put links in the video description to help you try and find copies of this book, which hopefully won't be too difficult. I'd imagine they sold quite a few copies of these back in the day, so there should be a few about. So for the purposes of going through this book page by page, I'm not going to use this one because it's falling apart, although there are a few differences between the two books, the 2 editions, and so we'll highlight those at the end. The Doctor Who Monster Book by, can we just take a moment to appreciate Terrance Dicks? Terrance Dicks. What an absolute legend. Much missed. Much missed. Now, as you can see, the book first came out in 75. This particular edition is from 85, but it's still much the same. Like I said, there's only a couple of differences. The first 4 doctors here. Isn't it mad to think that when this book came out, there had only been 4 doctors? I mean, just for me, just this list of monsters is iconic. Look at that list. Daleks, Ogrons, Exelons, Belal, a bit random, but fair enough. Davros, the Cybermen, Vogons, Ice Warriors, Monster of Peladon. It just goes on and on. It's just like it's literally a who's who of Doctor Who monsters, isn't it? That's what this is. Another bit of Target imagery here. Yeah, I soon made sure I got hold of that Target book, I think, after reading this. I like the combination of photographs and illustrations in this book. This feels quite iconic for me. Look at this sonic screwdriver. The lines coming out of it. It's almost like one of those optical illusions where you see like circles in the shape or something. Oh, action packed. The Who-mobile. Lovely stuff. But where are the monsters? That's what we really want. This whole intro is about the doctors, which is great, obviously, and that's a lovely photo, isn't it? See? Magical. Absolutely magical. And of course, at the time, I hadn't seen the Daleks' invasion of Earth, and so this was the first time I laid eyes on that imagery. Same goes for Death to the Daleks and the Ogrons in general. More Target book imagery, coupled with a bit more Death to the Daleks. There's a bit of a preoccupation with Death to the Daleks in this book. It is a good serial, though. I like it. Probably the first time I ever saw Davros. I mean, Davros is one of my favourite Doctor Who villains, so I mean that would have made a major impression on me, I would imagine. More iconic London Doctor Who imagery. Yeah, the Cybermen coming down the steps of St. Paul's Cathedral. That's awesome. Ice Warriors, so much fun on this page. Cybermen, Ice Warriors, Vogons. It's all here. And of course that's a great image. I mean, I think this cover ranked highly in my top 10 target books. Lovely Chris Achilleos image there. Ah, yes. I love this guy. I can't remember his name because I haven't seen... This will be the Monster of Peladon, won't it? And I have not seen that in quite a while. Curse of Peladon, on the other hand, has always been one of my favourites, and I can quite happily watch that regularly. There's lovely Agador. What a pleasure. What a pleasure. The Yeti. That's a great picture. See, all this stuff... This is, imagine going through this. I mean, this all looks like fairly standard photographs now and stuff we've seen. Reasonably familiar images, right? But imagine seeing it for the first time. And of course, you don't have to imagine that because you have seen it for the first time at some point in your life. And think back to when it was brand new and when it was just shocking and so cool. And of course, there might be a few people, who knows, there might be a few people who watch this video, and this video of this book is the first time they're seeing some of these monsters and some of these images, and that's a pretty, it's an unlikely thought, but it's a cool one. Sea devils, you've got to love a sea devil. All the ladies love a sea devil. Sontarans as well. Sontaran ships are so cool. I wish we'd seen a few more of those in the TV series. I mean, we did see the odd one or two, didn't we? Yes. I love this heading. It's just like monsters we couldn't fit under a heading anywhere else. Let's just bung them all together in a mixed bag of monsters. Zarbi. Sensorites. Yeah, I always love the look of the Sensorites. And the Mechanoids are one of my favourites. Mechanoids are still one of my favourites. They're so cool. Mainly because I think it took a while for me to see the chase, but the Mechanoids were in the Dalek comic strips, weren't they? And the annuals and stuff. And the Daleks versus Mechanoids was always a really cool war. Axons, that's a pretty scary looking couple of characters. And look at this little guy. And the mining robot. The Guardian and the mining robot. Wow. That's a pretty frightening image for a kid to see, isn't it? Especially in that version and that one. We're getting through the book now. Omega. Ah, yeah. Wonderful target books image. I'm not saying where that came in my top 10 target books list, but, you know, it was prominent. Gel guards. I love the gel guards. Draconians and giant maggots. Prehistoric monsters. Another target book image there, of course. The spiders. Whoa. Yeah, that's pretty creepy. That still looks pretty creepy, doesn't it? The giant robot. Always a pleasure. Always happy to see the giant robot. And same goes for the Wirren, obviously. Amazing. You'll notice that the text is obviously pretty spare and sparse, really. Mainly because it's basically a photo. It's a book of images, isn't it? With a little bit of text to explain and sum up what everything is. There's the Doctor, not looking so well there. The Zygons messing about with him, generally inconveniencing him. What a great suit the Zygons was. I mean, one of the few Doctor Who suits, when you think about it, apart from like the Daleks, where you can see the whole thing and none of it looks embarrassing, you know, or like shoes. That's an incredible suit. That's absolutely 100% up to today's standards. Loch Ness Monster. Not sure if that's the most amazing photo in the world that they could have chosen for this particular page, but still. And there we go. And what does it say? So this is like a little page that looks ahead. Actually, I've only just realised that this came out in 1985 when Colin Baker was the Doctor. Yeah. This particular edition. I mean, the first book came out in 75. Yeah, and the end of it says, these are some of the monsters the Doctor has faced during his many lives and long career. Who knows what terrors and dangers lie before him? Yes, they'll soon be old enemies and the arrival of many terrifying new ones. Well, absolutely. There we are, there's a list of the creators of all the monsters. And now let's just have a look at the few differences between the two books. Yeah, going back to page 28 of this edition, you can see the picture of the two ice warriors here, and look at the difference. The rest of the page is the same, but this one is a different picture, and actually a better picture, I think. Yeah, that's definitely an improvement, because this one actually looks a little bit, it's pretty poor quality, and it looks a bit out of focus, if anything. This one is sharper and better lit, I think. Some of these photo or illustration differences between these two editions might be due to copyright purposes or something like that. It's possible that in the first edition they used photos that they didn't actually have full permission for. You know, I'm just saying, it's possible. Here's another difference. On page 32, got the master here from, is that from the Time Monster? I'm not 100% sure. I think it's the Time Monster. Here he is, looking completely different. Yeah, completely different picture on that spread. I'm not sure why that was changed. Again, it could be photo copyright issues. And here's the biggest difference of all. This is the second edition again, and I'm going to show you the same spread in the first edition, which looks completely different. Yeah, I mean, that's a pretty cool image actually. I'm really glad that's there in the first edition that I first saw. And you've got a more action-packed image there. Let's compare the two, see if we can keep the same in the, well, we can't keep them both in the same picture, but you can generally see that you got Lynx in front of his spaceship and communicating on his communicator, I suppose. And I think that's a better spread. I don't know why they changed it. I can only assume it was picture copyright, because I noticed at the back of this it says, please note the publishers have made every effort to trace the owners of copyright material in this book. When someone puts that in there, it always suggests that they're not entirely sure. Whoa, look, here's an early sketch I made of a Cyberman. God knows how old I was. That says 1980 there. Wow, I don't know. I mean, I think I probably would have got this. I'm not sure. I've got no idea when I got it. But actually, let's just take a moment to appreciate the scribblings in this book and how well enjoyed it was. Yeah, oh God. It's a bit fragile, a bit precious. So, you know, I have to be a bit careful with it. But yeah, there's my first ever, probably my first ever Doctor Who book, I'm guessing. And obviously, as you will have noticed in the opening shot of this part of the video, the logos are the same as well. But I mean, look at these. Let's just take a moment to appreciate all of these images. That is absolutely marvellous. Yeah, great. Let me know down in comments what you think of the monster books, and if there are any other differences between these two editions that I haven't noticed, which I'm sure there probably are. Let me know. I'll be interested to hear. Tell me if you share my nostalgia for this book, and if this video does well enough, I'll also probably do a follow-up on this one, the second Doctor Who monster book. So let me know if you'd like to see that, and also the views and likes and shares on this video will also help determine that. Have a look down in the video description as well for links down to eBay and Amazon to help you find copies of these books. In about 24 seconds, I'm going to show you 4 other Doctor Who related videos on this channel which you might want to carry on watching. But first, look at some of the lovely people who support me on Patreon and help this channel grow. And in return, these people get extended versions of YouTube videos, early access to YouTube videos, and they even get videos that are just for them. If you'd like to consider joining this VIP club, then have a look downstairs in the video description for the link. And don't forget to embrace your obsessions.